David Koepp, I'm going to linger on you for as long as I possibly can. It's wonderful to have you here.
Oh,
thank you for
so
being
much.
here. How does it feel getting on your carpet tonight here at the UK premiere for Disclosure Day?
Well, it's delightful because I so desperately want people to see this movie. It's a special movie. I found it very emotional when I saw it now several times, and I want other people to have that same feeling.
How are you describing it?
The first word I use is emotional.
Yeah.
I feel that there's something very deeply human about this movie that comes from Stephen's heart. And I think that we don't see that as much in movies anymore, and that profound sense of wonder. So I would say emotional, there's a sense of wonder, but it's also, then these sequences erupt and you think, oh my God, this is also an exciting thriller. So it's got a little of everything.
It also comes from your words, sir, your script. And I'm really intrigued by the kind of seed of that, in terms of your starting point and what inspired you.
Well, I was deeply inspired by the 40-page story that Stephen sent me, which is probably the easiest beginning to a movie I'll ever have. No, he sent a story and said, what do you think of this? And we started talking about it, and he asked me to write it. And, I know he views it as a sort of a summation of a lot of thoughts he's had in movies he's made for many years. And I was seized by an overwhelming feeling of not wanting to screw that up. And I think everybody in the cast felt the same way, which is we all realized, hey, this guy's asked us to help him tell his story. It's him. Let's up our game. We have to do the best work we've done.
Do you dive into research? I'm really intrigued by what that research might involve.
There is no if you want to research this topic, there is no shortage of people who want to talk to you, people who've had experiences, now declassified government reports, books, good books, many documentaries, and then if you go down the internet rabbit hole, you're in danger of never coming back. So the problem isn't finding things to research; it's knowing when to stop.
The characters that you've created and written, they're so rich and kind of deep, and it's almost a puzzle in a way in terms of these relationships, their individual stories and stuff. How do you go about kind of forming those fully written characters that have so much backstory that we feel connected to immediately?
Well, you know what it is? It's rewrites. You write a script, you settle on what you think the structure of that script is and generally who these people are. And then Stephen is, of course, expert at finding, okay, but who are they as human beings? So there was a point at which there's 5 leads in the movie, and we would go through and do a draft from the point of view of that character and focus only on that character and try to make them as human and real and specific as we could.
Does a collaboration with Stephen, is every new project like starting again, in a way?
Well, it is like starting again in that you're making it up from scratch. But you develop a shorthand. Now it's been 30-some years, so we certainly are used to each other. But what I love about it is I believe that Stephen's favorite part of the process, and certainly my favorite part, is still the very beginning. That moment when you say, hey, wouldn't it be cool if... That you can't beat.
I want to ask you about the corporation that's featured in the film, Wardex. What does it stand for?
That stands for Waived Reporting, Development, and Extraction.
Talk to me about waived reporting.
Well, that's an actual term. We picked up a lot. There's a lot of real government lingo in this movie. That we heard that in the congressional hearings in 2023 in the States. In some of the testimonies, they would talk about programs they developed that had so-called waived reporting, which means you don't have to tell anyone about it, which is just so antithetical to the whole idea of supervised government. That's off the books stuff.
How present are you whilst the film's being shot? In terms of, are you there? Are things kind of still involved as the film's being shot with Stephen?
It depends on the film, and it depends on one's relationship with the director. In this case, Stephen asked if I would be there most of the time, so I was there a lot, and I loved it. What I loved is that sometimes directors don't like to have the writer there. They feel like they're being supervised. But he wants you there for your opinion, and he wants you there to help with problem solving. So if I'm an active participant and I'm welcome, I'd be more than happy to be there.
Is there a scene or a piece of dialogue or something from the film that you're particularly proud of for Disclosure Day?
Oh gosh, there is a scene between Colin Firth and Coleman Domingo.
Yes.
About 2/3 of the way through the movie. Boy, we rewrote that 45 times. It contains a lot of ideas, and it has to be specific to those characters. And I think they performed it so beautifully.
It's quite Shakespearean. It's fabulous. Congratulations and thank you. It's absolutely wonderful. It really,
Thank
really
you
is.
so much.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Thank you for stopping by for a chat. The
Pleasure.
wonderful David Koepp, everybody.